All right, folks, time to have a conversation about something very important. This is being FireSmart. Of course, 'tis the season to maybe reflect on your home, your property, places that matter to you, and we're doing that today with Anita. Great to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me, Kaden. It's great to be here.
Yeah, and I feel like we're going to learn a lot together today, and you watching this, you will learn a lot, I guarantee it. Even if you think you know it all, we will teach you something today. We're in what I call a pretty typical Prince George backyard. There's some trees, there's some cedars around, there's a deck, and we're going to tell you what you need to know about this. So what is the starting point for a FireSmart assessment, Anita?
Yeah, so the most important thing for people to know is that 90% of the homes that burn in a wildfire are typically started by embers.
Okay.
So
and these are the things that fly around in the air, sparks.
Exactly.
People,
yeah, and they travel ahead of the fire, and they can travel many, many miles, farther than you would expect. And what the embers are doing is simply looking for fuel.
Of course.
And so the embers are going to go where you typically find leafy debris goes in the fall, where garbage accumulates. It's always around a corner. And so what we're looking for is within the first 5 feet or 1.5 meters of a house. That's where we want to see no combustible materials at all, because that's what will put your house at greatest risk. And so let's start in the first non-combustible zone and see what we've got there.
Okay, sounds good. Let's start on the deck. I think it's a good place to start. Everyone
Perfect.
has one of these, or most people do, so
Yeah.
let's find some common ground on what we're all struggling with, shall we?
Excellent.
All right.
Within this first 5 feet, so it's 1.5 meters, so basically your arm width
Okay, yeah, pretty much
is
what it is.
about 1.5 meters. So we just want to make sure that there's no combustible materials. So on the deck
Yep.
is quite clean, and we do have some recycling. So there are combustibles, of course, in the
Yeah.
recycle bin. So we prefer to see that moved into the shed in
Okay.
fire season, just so I appreciate that it's convenient to have it
Yeah.
outside the door.
But I feel like this is the thing that people struggle with, right? Convenience over
Yeah.
maybe fire smartness.
Exactly, yeah. And so in fire season, we definitely want to see that moved inside a shed, preferably a FireSmart building, if possible. And what
Yep.
is that behind
My favorite thing.
the corn broom? Yes.
Convenient for sweeping,
Yes.
but bad for fire, I think.
Exactly, yes. And typically we see these culprits next to a window, much like this cocoa mat
Yep.
next to a window. These are the perfect fuel source for embers. So embers are just looking for something dry. Because this mat is underneath this roof, it really likely doesn't see much moisture. And so it is the perfect fuel source. So cocoa mats, unfortunately, when embers land in them, they ignite, they burn really hot, really fast. And typically what will happen is the radiant heat coming off of that fire would compromise or break this glass, and then the embers would get sucked inside the house and then burn the house
And
down.
that's when you lose the battle. We got one thing we know we need to put away.
Yeah,
Another thing we know we should put away. I guess this one too.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's time for those to go away. Excellent. Now, thanks, Kaden. Pretty simple thing to do, right? You don't need any
That's it.
extra tools or special tools for that.
It was 5 seconds.
Yeah. The next thing that we notice that typically people have on their deck, which is either right beside or right below a window, are patio furniture.
Of course.
And because the cushions are a petroleum-based synthetic material, these burn really hot really fast. And so if embers were to land in this material, it actually would ignite. And then again, the radiant heat that comes off of that fire would likely compromise the window.
Yeah.
And then the embers would transfer inside the house, and then you've lost the battle there as well. The rule at my house is if there's no one in the chair, there's no cushions left outside.
Huh.
So a simple remedy might be simply to put a deck box over on the far end of the deck and make sure that the cushions always go in there.
Okay.
In this case, it's great that it's not,
no window,
immediately
yeah.
beside. It's close, but it's not immediately beside it. So that's great. And same with the camp chair. That's also a synthetic fiber, another fuel source. It's up against the wood and then the siding. So best to just put that away as well for now.
The other one thing I wanted to touch on quickly here too, because we're right close to it, hardy board siding, I hear is very good.
Yes.
Tell me about this.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it won't burn, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a fiber cement material. And so that material is very FireSmart, as is stucco,
Yep.
as is that plaster exterior. It's almost like a cement as well.
Yep.
Now, looking at things like this timber,
Yep.
for this privacy screen, really difficult to burn timber. You know, if you were to hold one of those lighters up to it, it would not burn.
No.
So same with a log house.
Interestingly enough, hey?
Yeah, it's not going to ignite from embers.
Yeah.
It would ignite likely because of a fuel source right beside the house that had enough fuel within it, such as cedar trees, and we'll talk about cedar trees shortly.
Yes.
That is potentially what might cause something like a log house to burn. But you know, when you're starting a campfire, you're looking for dead, dry, brittle materials. And nothing leafy and green, and not big chunks. You need small pieces to get the fire going, and that's exactly what we're looking for with embers. That's what embers are looking for.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. We're learning here together. I guarantee you've learned something watching this already, and we're going to learn some more talking about cedars. Let's go meet the trees that you shouldn't. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, we teased you with cedars, and we have cedars, some alive, some dead. I'm assuming a dead cedar is bad, but what about an alive one?
Yeah, well, live cedars, surprisingly, including juniper trees, the terpenes in their resin burn really hot, really fast. It's super volatile. It's like burns like gasoline.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
These are bad then.
Really flashy fire, hot and fast. And so typically what happens with a cedar tree is as the needles die off, they fall inside. These are pretty young trees, so it's hard to tell so far, but what happens is they'll accumulate down in here.
Yep.
And so even if this was a healthy, happy tree, there always is this debris inside the tree, and embers are looking for this perfect fuel source. So cedars, because the terpenes are so volatile, we want to ensure that the cedar trees are at least 10 meters away from the house.
Okay, 10 meters. That's a long way.
It is a long way.
Yeah, but a different way you can lose the battle, Anita, is gutters.
Yes.
So you can kind of see them from here. You can see them on TV on your screen.
Yeah.
Bad things to watch out for, I'm assuming, and this is a perfect example, the branch growing into a gutter.
Yeah.
But you were even saying you've gone and done assessments where a tree's growing in the gutter.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, which means that obviously the debris has been in the gutter for a long time and it's composted and now it's become soil, and then seeds find their way in and start new trees. And so the reason that it's so critical to have the gutters clean at least, at minimum, once a year is to ensure that that perfect fuel source is removed, because when it's warm like it is now, it really becomes dry, and embers are looking for that perfect fuel source. And so if embers were to land in the debris within the gutter, they would start a fire, and literally the fire would go straight into the attic of the house. These types of trees that shed their leaves annually is that they're full of moisture. The trunk is full of moisture, and then the leaves are full of moisture. So, for example, if you were to start a campfire, you're not going to come over to this tree and break a branch off, because you already know from trial and error in the past that this is not going to start the fire. And
Unless you want white smoke, it ain't going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
So this, because of the moisture content in the tree, is what's considered a fire-resistant tree.
Okay.
Just like poplars, willows, any of the aspen, the others that shed their leaves. So these are great alternatives, as are perennials that also, you know, die back in the fall and then come back in the spring, as opposed to the cedars.
Yeah.
So this is a better option. Now, we do have some partners in town.
I was going to say, shout them out, because people should know, and the logos of FireSmart are on the bushes and trees that you buy.
Yes, exactly. So ArtNaps was the first nursery to onboard with FireSmart BC into the garden program, the plant program. And
Which
so
very good.
Yeah, so thank you to them for being a great partner. And so they have tags and all kinds of information in the store to help you make decisions about what are good FireSmart or fire-resistant plants to implement into your landscaping, which is great. And Canadian Tire will be onboarding with us next as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. And of course, if you're wherever you do your local shopping, if you ask someone, they likely know what kind of plants and trees are good for this kind of stuff as well. One of my favorite parts of Inside City Limits, Anita, and we haven't got to it yet, is getting to know the people who get to do these wonderful jobs that help keep us happy, healthy, and safe here in the city of Prince George.
Yeah.
So what exactly is your job? Going around giving assessments on FireSmart? Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so I'm on a mission to educate residents locally just about what simple things they can do to reduce their risk to wildfires, and also to go and walk around the property with them and show them specifically, because when we've lived there for some time, then we've
Yeah.
walked past the same thing so many times that we don't really see it anymore. So for example, a little pile of wood that's been beside the house forever that you don't really see.
Yeah.
Or maybe people even pile their firewood against the house because it's really convenient in the winter,
Yep.
not so good in the summer or fire season. And so our goal is to ensure that residents know what their greatest risk is to wildfire. And so we're happy to come. We really just want to get out there and show everyone so that they know, and then they can decide what they do from there. So we might give them some big ticket items
Yep.
and some small ticket items. And so simple things that they could do in 15, 20 minutes or
Yep.
less without any special equipment. And then there's other bigger ticket items that we can mention so that as time and budget allows, then people can incorporate that into their plan.
Yeah.
But we just want to get out there and help people understand what actually puts them at the greatest risk, because people didn't realize that embers really are what put our homes at the greatest risk. It's not this wall of fire that comes through the community that burns everything in sight. It's the embers.
Sneaky, yeah.
They are sneaky, and they travel ahead of the fire, and they are actually what move the fire along the landscape faster.
There you go. A little bit of knowledge to share along with you today, or I should say a lot of knowledge. So thank you to Anita. What is the easiest way to get a hold of you for people wondering to have this done on their property?
Oh, sure. So you can email us at fire.smart@princegeorge.ca. You can call directly 250-561-7747, or you can actually book us through the FireSmart BC website
wonderful.
for an assessment, because we actually use their platform in order to do the bookings of the assessment. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, and all that info, in case you missed it, will be on our website, ckpgtoday.ca as well. I think we covered a lot of ground today, quite literally here in the backyard, but
Great.
hopefully it's relatable to you watching out there, and hopefully we gave you something. And if you need more, call Anita, the team at FireSmart.
Amazing.
Thanks
Thank you so much for
and
having
thank you
me.
for your work. It
Oh,
is
thank you. It's great.